In the heart of the marketplace where traders sang their prices and children chased butterflies between stalls, there lived a woman named Adana. Her name meant "a father's daughter," but she had become known as something else entirely, the woman who gave everything. Adana's hands told stories. Deep lines crossed her palms like rivers on a map, each one marking a sacrifice. Her fingers, once slender and soft, had grown strong from years of grinding cassava, carrying water, and building a home from nothing. She met Chike when she was 20, bright-eyed and full of dreams. He was a trader who sold fabrics, and he spoke words that tasted like honey. "Marry me," he said one evening as the sun painted the sky orange. "Together, we will build something beautiful." Adana believed him. She left her parents' compound with nothing but a small bag of clothes and a heart full of hope. The first years were hard, but Adana didn't mind. Chike's trading business was small, barely enough to feed them. Their home was a single room with walls that leaked when it rained. "I will make this work," Adana promised herself each morning. She woke before the sun, prepared Chike's breakfast, then hurried to the farm she had rented with money borrowed from her brother. She planted vegetables, tomatoes, peppers, okra, and sold them at the market. Every coin she earned went into a clay pot buried beneath their bed. "What are you saving for?" Chike asked one night. "Our future," Adana said, smiling. "One day, we will have a big house. Our children will have everything they need." Chike smiled back, but his eyes were already drifting to the doorway, to the world beyond. Years passed. Adana's vegetables grew abundant. She expanded her farm, hiring 2 young girls to help her. The clay pot filled with coins, then with paper money. She bought cement, hired builders, and constructed a house with 3 bedrooms and a proper kitchen. "Look what we've built," she told Chike, her eyes shining with pride. Chike nodded. "Yes. What we've built." But Adana noticed he said "we" without meeting her eyes. Adana's body began to betray her. The years of hard work had taken their toll. Her back ached constantly. Her knees swelled like ripe mangoes. Some mornings, she couldn't get out of bed without pain shooting through her spine. "You should rest," her friend Gozi told her at the market. "You've worked yourself to the bone." "I can't rest," Adana said. "Chike's business needs support. We are saving for our children's education." But there were no children yet. 5 years of marriage, then 10, then 12. Adana visited healers, drank bitter herbs, prayed at dawn. Nothing worked. She saw the way people whispered when she passed. The way Chike's mother looked at her with pity that felt like poison. "A woman who cannot bear children is like a river that has run dry," Chike's mother said one evening, loud enough for Adana to hear from the kitchen. Adana's hands trembled as she stirred the soup. But she said nothing. She had learned that silence was sometimes the only shield she had. Adana first saw Obioma at Chike's shop. She was young, maybe 22, with smooth skin and a laugh that bubbled up like spring water. She wore a bright yellow wrapper that swayed when she walked, and her braids were decorated with colorful beads that clicked together musically. "Who is that?" Adana asked Chike that evening. "A customer's daughter. She helps her father with business." Adana felt something cold settle in her stomach, but she pushed it away. She trusted Chike. She had given him everything, surely that meant something. 3 months later, Chike came home late. He sat across from Adana, wouldn't meet her eyes. "I'm taking a second wife," he said. The words hit Adana like a physical blow. She felt the air leave her lungs. "What?" "Obioma. She's young. She can give me children. But we can keep trying, we can see more healers. I've decided." Chike's voice was flat, final. "Her family has agreed. The bride price is paid." Adana's world tilted. The house she had built, the sacrifices she had made, the years of her youth spent building their life, all of it suddenly felt meaningless. "Please," she whispered. "Please don't do this." Chike stood up. "You'll adjust. Women do." He left the room, and Adana sat there as darkness filled the house she had built with her own hands. Obioma moved into the house 3 weeks later. Chike gave her the second bedroom, the one Adana had imagined would be for their first child. "Don't worry," Chike told Adana. "You're still my first wife. That means something." But Adana quickly learned that being first meant nothing when you weren't favored. Chike spent his evenings with Obioma. He laughed with her, brought her gifts, perfumes, fabrics, jewelry. Things he had never bought for Adana, even when she begged for something small to mark their anniversary. Adana cooked for both of them. She cleaned the house, washed Obioma's clothes, fetched water. Her body screamed in protest, but she kept moving. What else could she do? "You're too old to be jealous," Chike told her one night when he found her crying in the kitchen. "Accept your place." Obioma became pregnant within 2 months. Her belly swelled like a promise, and Chike paraded her around the marketplace like a trophy. "Finally, I would be a father," he announced to anyone who would listen. Adana felt herself disappearing. She became invisible in her own home, a ghost that cooked and cleaned and suffered in silence. The baby came, a boy with strong lungs and Chike's white forehead. They named him Chidi. Chike slaughtered a goat to celebrate. He invited half the marketplace to feast. He danced and sang and accepted congratulations with a chest puffed full of pride. Adana served the guests. She watched Obioma hold the baby, glowing with satisfaction. She watched Chike kiss his son's forehead with a tenderness he had never shown her. That night, alone in her room, the first bedroom, the one she had planned and built, Adana looked at her hands. They were old hands now, marked by work and pain. Hands that had planted, harvested, sowed, saved, and built. For what? For this. She thought about everything she had sacrificed. Her education, she had been studying accounting before she married, but Chike said wives didn't need degrees. Her health, ruined by years of back-breaking work. Her youth, spent building someone else's dream. And what did she have to show for it? A room in a house she had built, and a husband who looked through her like she was smoke. "I'm dying," she whispered to herself. "I'm dying slowly, and no one even notices." That thought should have frightened her. Instead, it awakened something. The next morning, Adana didn't cook breakfast. She didn't fetch water. She didn't wash clothes. Instead, she walked to her farm. She stood at the edge of her fields she had planted and nurtured through every season, and she made a decision. "This is mine," she said aloud. "I built this. Me. Not we. Me." She went to the local council office and registered the farm in her name alone. Then she visited a lawyer, a woman named Chisholm who had started her practice 2 years before. "I want to know my rights," Adana said. Chisholm listened to her story. Her eyes grew hard with anger. "The house?" Chisholm asked. "I built it. I paid for everything. But it's in his name." "The farm?" "In my name now." "Good." Chisholm leaned forward. "You don't have to stay, you know. You don't owe him anything." "But I've invested so much." "Exactly. You've invested in him. Now invest in yourself." Adana went home that day with her mind spinning. Could she really leave? Where would she go? But more importantly, why should she go? She had built this house. Adana stopped being invisible. She stopped cooking for Obioma. She stopped washing Chike's clothes. She stopped pretending that everything was fine. "What's wrong with you?" Chike demanded when he found his breakfast unmade. "I'm tired," Adana said simply. "You're my wife? You have duties." "I'm your first wife," Adana corrected. "You said that means something. So let your second wife serve you." "I've served enough." Chike's face turned purple with rage, but Adana walked away before he could respond. She spent her days at the farm, expanding her business. She hired more help. She started selling not just vegetables but also processed foods, dried vegetables, pepper sauce, packaged spices. Her products became popular. Money flowed in, and this time, Adana kept it for herself. She opened a bank account that only she could access. Meanwhile, at home, chaos erupted. Obioma didn't know how to cook. She burned rice, oversalted soup, couldn't pound yam properly. The baby cried constantly because she didn't know how to soothe him. Chai came to Adana's room one night. "Please," he said. "Help us. Just until Obioma learns." Adana looked at him. Really looked at him. She saw a man who had taken everything from her and given nothing back. A man who had used her strength to build his life, then discarded her when something younger came along. "No," she said. "You're being selfish. I'm being tired. There's a difference." Chak left, slamming the door behind him. 6 months passed. Adana's business grew stronger. She hired a manager for her farm and started planning something bigger, a small restaurant at the marketplace. She had money now. Real money. Money she had earned through her own sweat, that no one could claim or control. One evening, Ngozi visited her. "You look different," Ngozi said. "Lighter somehow." "I feel different," Adana admitted. "I feel like I'm waking up after a very long sleep." "What will you do?" Adana took a deep breath. "I'm leaving. Leaving. I'm buying land near the market. I build my own place. Small, but mine. Completely mine." Ngozi's eyes filled with tears. "What about the house?" "He can keep it. Let him and Obioma and their children live in the house I built. I don't care anymore. I built something new. People will talk. Let them talk. I'm done living for people's approval." 3 weeks later, Adana packed her belongings. Not much, just her clothes, her documents, and a photo of her parents. Chike watched from the doorway. "You're really leaving?" "Yes. After everything I gave you." Adana laughed. Actually laughed. The sound surprised even her. "Everything you gave me?" "Chike, I built your house. I funded your business when it was failing. I sacrificed my health, my youth, my dreams. You gave me nothing but heartbreak. You regret this. You come crawling back." Adana looked at him one last time. "No," she said softly. "I really won't." She walked out of the house she had built and didn't look back. Adana's new home was small, just 2 rooms and a kitchen. But it was hers. Every brick, every nail, every coat of paint, hers. She opened her restaurant 3 months later. She called it Adana's Place, and she served the foods she had perfected over years, her grandmother's jollof rice recipe, egusi soup that made people close their eyes with pleasure, puff-puff that melted on the tongue. The restaurant thrived. People came not just for the food but for Adana herself. She had become something of a legend in the marketplace, the woman who had walked away, who had chosen herself. Young women came to her for advice. "My husband wants a second wife," one said, tears streaming down her face. Adana took her hand. "What do you want?" "I don't know. Everyone says I should accept it." "But what do you want?" Adana repeated. The woman looked down. "I want to matter. I want to feel like my life has value." "Then make it have value. Not through him, through yourself. Build something that's yours. Create a life that makes you proud. And if he can't respect that, then you know what to do." News spread. Women traveled from far away to meet Adana, to hear her story, to learn from her journey. 2 years after Adana left, Chak appeared at her restaurant. He looked older, diminished somehow. His shoulders curved inward like he was carrying a heavy load. "Can we talk?" he asked. Adana studied him. She felt nothing, no anger, no bitterness, no love. Just a distant curiosity. "Speak," she said. "Things are difficult." Obioma left. She took the boy and went back to her family. "The house, there are debts. The business is failing." "I'm sorry to hear that." Chike looked surprised. He had probably expected anger or satisfaction. "I was wrong," he said quietly. About everything. You built that house, that life. I took it for granted. I took you for granted. Adana nodded. Yes. You did. Would you consider coming back? Adana finished. No, Chike. That part of my life is over. But I know what you need. You need someone to fix your problems, to sacrifice themselves for your comfort. But I'm done being that person. I'm done sacrificing. What am I supposed to do? Adana stood up. The same thing I did. Figure it out. Work hard. Build something. You have hands, don't you? Use them. She walked away, leaving Chike sitting alone at a table in the restaurant she had built from nothing. Years passed. Adana's restaurant expanded. She opened 2 more locations. She trained young women in cooking and business, helping them build their own independence. Her hair turned gray at the temples, but her eyes remained bright. Her hands still bore the marks of hard work, but now they also wore rings she had bought herself, not symbols of marriage, but symbols of achievement. One evening, a young woman named Amora came to her. She was crying, her face swollen from tears. I gave him everything, Amora sobbed. 7 years. I worked, I saved, I built our home. Now he says he wants someone younger. Someone who can give him more children. Adana held her, let her cry. When the tears slowed, she spoke. Let me tell you something I learned. When you pour yourself into someone else's cup until yours is empty, you don't become noble, you become invisible. You become easy to discard. But I love him. Love shouldn't cost you everything. Love shouldn't make you small. Love shouldn't turn you into a ghost in your own life. What do? You fill your own cup first. You build your own life. You become so strong, so full, so alive that no one can make you disappear. And then, if someone wants to be part of your life, they add to what you've already built. They don't take from it. Amora wiped her eyes. Is it too late for me? Adana smiled. I was 39 when I started over. You're what, 30? You have time. You have strength you don't even know about yet. Use it. Now, when the sun sets over the marketplace and traders pack up their goods, Adana sits on the balcony of her restaurant. She watches the sky turn colors, orange, pink, purple, deep blue. Sometimes young women join her there. They ask questions, seek advice, share their struggles. Was it worth it? One asked recently. Leaving everything behind. Adana thought about the question. She thought about the house she had built and left behind. She thought about the years of sacrifice and pain. She thought about Chike and Obioma and the life that could have been. Then she looked at the restaurant below, full of laughter and good food and her own name on the sign. She thought about the money in her bank account, earned by her hands and her mind. She thought about the young women she had helped, the independence she had modeled, the life she had reclaimed. I didn't leave everything behind, she said finally. I left behind what was killing me. And I took with me what mattered, my strength, my dignity, myself. Those are things no one can take from you unless you let them. And Chike. Adana shrugged. The last I heard, he remarried again. 3rd wife. Still searching for whatever it is he thinks he needs from women instead of building it in himself. Do you ever regret it? Regret. Adana laughed, and the sound was free, unguarded. My only regret is that I didn't leave sooner. That I wasted so many years trying to be enough for someone who would never see my value. The sun finally set, and stars began appearing in the darkening sky. One by one, like tiny promises. Remember this, Adana told the young woman beside her. You are not half of someone else's whole. You are complete on your own. Anyone who enters your life should enhance what you've already built, not demolish it to build their own dreams on the ruins. The young woman nodded, and Adana saw something shift in her eyes, a spark of recognition, of possibility, of awakening. That spark was why Adana told her story. Not for revenge, not for bitterness, but so that other women might learn what she had learned too late, that the first person you must never lose while pleasing others is yourself. The marketplace grew quiet as night settled in. But inside Adana's restaurant, the light stayed bright, warm, welcoming. A place she had built. A life she had claimed. A story that was finally, beautifully, her own. True strength isn't measured by how much you can sacrifice for others, but by how well you can honor yourself while loving them. Build your own foundation first, so that when storms come, and they will come, you have solid ground beneath your feet. Your value doesn't come from what you give away, it comes from what you know you're worth. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk away from what's destroying you, even if you built it with your own hands.